going on, Pokemon GO trainers? Welcome to episode 3 of the Lured Up Creator Series, the podcast bringing your favorite content creators to talk about their work, process, and the game that brings it all together, Pokemon GO. Lured Up is part of the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Saturday, June 13th, 2020. At least when we're recording this, I know, Zoe, you're in the future.
No, I'm in the future, man. It's
so
Sunday.
I don't really know how
telling lies
time
on this
zones work.
podcast.
But I'm your host, Ken Pescatore, joined by my co-host, Adam Tuttle, and that other voice, ZoëTwoDots. What's up? How are you?
Hello, howdy, good day. G'day, mates. I'm doing good. How are you? How you both?
We're well.
Welcome
right,
back.
Adam? We're last we had you on, we were episode 69. I was like,
oh yeah, I remember.
Yes, you definitely
That was a good number.
And the last time I saw you was PAX East.
Yeah, that was wild, man. That was a crazy trip. Holy dooly. It was like,
wasn't that cold as hell?
How's everyone doing? This is awesome. Okay, bye. Like fleeing back to my country before all the borders get closed off. Like, oh my gosh, wild.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think of like how quickly things spiraled from there.
Yep. Yeah, it was within days. For Australia, at least, it was within days of me getting back in. So my flight was via Japan from New York. And 3 days after I got back, it was like, cool, so we're blocking all flights from Japan, Korea, China.
Wow.
And it was like, whoa.
So you just made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like, I might stay in my country for a little while.
Yeah.
No, that's I know a lot of people that had complications because there was just no flights, so they just couldn't get places. So, oh man, that's wild. That it was like creeping on your back door.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there was like a leeway period for like if you're a citizen and you need to get back in, like you need to contact the embassy or get on it sort of vibe. So I think it wouldn't have been flat out stranded, but it was cutting it close.
Well, you made it. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Well, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about what you do, who you are, just so everyone can get caught up. Then we'll start the convo. How are you?
For sure, yeah. So I am ZoëTwoDots. For anyone who doesn't know me, secretly, it's my username. My channel name is Instructions on How to Spell My Name. Shock horror. My name's just Zoe. I'm from Australia, and I do a whole bunch of Pokemon GO goodness over on YouTube. I've been streaming a whole bunch as well since, quarantine and lockdown stuff, like way more than usual over on Twitch. So same ZoëTwoDots over there as well, doing Sword and Shield, Pokemon GO battle stuff, a lot of Animal Crossing, which has been really, really good. And just generally trying to be a good egg and make people smile via video games. And yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right. Hell yeah. I'm in. Sign me up. No, that's legit. Now, I think the whole thing with Twitch, and I definitely want to get into this, but the whole thing with Twitch for sure has changed the dynamic of the way that a lot of creators kind of operate, because they were moving to, this model that required way more community interaction and real-time stuff. And it was like everyone just kind of moved to streaming, and the content scene it changed because the vibe of produced content versus streaming content is so different that it was like, man, this is wild. Now there's so many different ways to approach like wanting to watch content, because streamed content is like, it's just so different. So we'll get there in a second. I want to talk about the balances between the two.
Yeah, for
sure. How long have you been doing YouTube?
So YouTube, I guess for Pokemon GO stuff since the day the game came out, but a few years, probably a year or two before that, I was doing like some travel vlog stuff. Like that was the start of my channel, was just some kind of like really basic, and God, that copyright free music will haunt me till the end of time because I use the same song in like every video. But more just like mucking around, like when we'd go for a trip to Japan, I was like, filming the Pokemon Center, or like, just kind of like little cute Japan haul videos of like collectibles and things you couldn't get outside of Japan. And that was kind of like the first experience with YouTube stuff. But in terms of like actually doing it proper was, since Pokemon GO's release. And even I guess the first 6 months to a year of that was part-time or like very side to the full-time I was doing graphic design. a year.
Right. Now, what do you think the difference in your approach now versus like day one? Like when you first set out to start making Pokemon Go videos, what was like your focus? What was your goal? Like what was your inspirational thing, your mantra at that time compared to like what it is now? Like,
oh dude, I wish I had a mantra. That would probably be easier to focus on something.
But how's your process changed over the years? Because I mean, it's crazy to think that Pokemon Go has been around for a long time now. Yeah. It's like it's not a new game anymore.
No,
it's
wild.
It's like,
I know. Think about how long we've been doing this.
Yeah,
I know.
We're now on a separate series for creators.
I keep being like, oh yeah, like last year at GoFest. I'm like, wait, no, that was like 2 years ago. Oh, and this other thing was 3 years ago. I'm like, what?
Yeah, when you start using Pokemon Go as a unit of measurement, like, when Pokemon Go started, it's like, oh, then it's like that time. Because
even me saying that, I'm like, how long ago was it? Yeah. I'm like, that's like 1, 2, 3.
It's like, oh my God, it's going to be 4 years. It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
God.
But that's fun. It is fun that you can you could use it as a unit of measurement. Like, because a lot of people's lives, and this is real talk. A lot of people's lives changed on that day.
Yeah,
and
definitely
changed to a culture and a pattern of engaging with a game that probably a lot of people have built into their routine that are still playing every freaking day. It's like it's a part of the day, like brushing your teeth and like leaving the house, checking for your wallet, keys, phone. You know what I mean?
Go
it's
Plus.
like it's just part of it.
Yeah, Go Plus.
That's me. Wallet, keys, phone, Go Plus. Get in the car.
Yo, I'm telling you, I got I have a charging dock, a USB charging dock for the Pokeball Plus, and I leave it in my car in the cup holder.
Oh,
so
that's
it's like
genius.
The Pokeball Plus is in the car at all times. I never have to touch it, and it just auto spins. It's the only way I use it. So I just leave it in the car the whole time and never change it.
That's
so
smart.
It's like, I'm always in Pokestop restock mode, whatever. But
I guess, so as for your question, like when I started, I was just like, I always was interested in like gaming creators and like video games. I've been playing games since, I don't know, I was fresh out the womb. Goodness knows how long I've been playing games for. But I always was interested in like creators and streamers, and like I didn't have a good enough, internet connection, cheers Australia, for streaming. Like just physically didn't even have more than 1 meg uploads. Like it was not possible. Then for recorded stuff, it was like I would have had to need a PC, capture card, blah, 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 which wasn't really a thing that I could afford at the time. Then Pokemon Go comes out and it's like, well, everyone's got a phone and I've got a camera. So like, let's go make some cool stuff. And it wasn't too much more than that, except for knowing that I wanted to do it. I was just like, I want to make this and do this and have it succeed. And I guess not in like a selfish or bratty way, but like I usually get what I want, and like, you put your mind to it and you get stuff done.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So it's all happening. I guess now, almost 4 years later, it's wild.
It's important when it comes to building a brand like this. I mean, you got to be fucking all in. You know what I mean? Like you have to be all in. So it's like once you put that mindset on of, yes, this is what I'm going to do. And this is the plan. This is how it's going to go. And you just are in the driver's seat, like with your fucking foot on the floor. It's like that's a good space to be in, because then, you're motivating yourself to do it. And
it's like, how do I achieve this? And it's just like on Google. Like,
that's the pixie dust. That's the good shit.
The magic.
That's the magic, because then it's like, you've got a fire in your innards and your jellies that's burning.
No, the fire's in her bow.
The fire's in the bow.
Don't reveal my secret.
I know. I was gonna shoot fucking fire blast out of her bow. Like, that'd be great. So funny. No, but I'm, as always, Zoe, for real though, it's just like I always enjoy your videos because there's
a charm to it.
Maybe it's the fucking bow. I don't know. I don't know what it is about. It's like the second you start, it's like, oh, Zoe.
That's so good.
And I know Adam is into like mixing mediums with AR and the TCG, and he put some stuff together. And I always thought it was cool that you did some cool blending stuff with AR.
Yeah, I want to do more of the green screen AR stuff, especially now with the buddy update and everything.
Reality
we can
blending?
like get really
the occlusion.
really into it. And then, yeah, additionally with the reality blending that will be coming out, like, it's like, ooh, okay, what kind of things can we mess around with here to make it even, like, take it even further? Like, I'm really curious how much it can handle when it rolls out.
Do you think that, like, the community is going to come together and, like, start shooting this kind of stuff again?
I hope so. I feel like a lot of people just kind of poo-poo and, like, put down AR. They're like, oh, who needs this camera feature? Like, we fix X, Y, and Z or whatever.
No, seriously, that was the first.
Like,
that was like one of the first comments on Niantic's post.
Yeah, literally every single time it's like, fix this instead, and it's like, why not both? Like the AR team isn't working on like Go Battle League fixes. That's not what they design or do. Like there's someone else doing that sort of thing. So it's like, everything has its little, team working on it sort of vibe. But I think because of that attitude, a lot of people won't try it out. There's obviously like a really strong AR community, and they are amazing, and they're like wizards at what they do and how they get the Pokemon to glitch out in certain ways, or if you do this thing and you half open the app and then you move over here, it'll like shrink it down, and like absolute wizards at getting amazing shots.
I know, manipulating the game just to get the right shot.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just think like, oh, it's a gimmick, so they don't give it a go. But I think there's definitely just a lot of fun to be had with it, just to like even play around, or families with kids and stuff, like teaching your kids they can make their own like mini movie if they wanted to, really, like screen recording and playing with the Pokemon. And then, the kid that's holding the camera could be like making it animate and attack and like, oh, I gotta run away, and, all that kind of jazz that you could be doing with it, more than just going like, oh, I've got a task to photograph my Pokemon, so bring, here it goes.
Yeah.
I know. Ken, you're like a speed demon when it comes to that.
No, well,
take 10 shots.
No. Look, it's I had a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about PvP, and it was a similar kind of thing. Of no matter what Niantic says is being fixed or updated, someone's going to be upset and say, "Why didn't you do something different?"
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is, whether you're talking about PvP or AR, there's a lot of parallels where, and this is how I broke it down to the person I go, you can look at it the same thing, it's the same game, but you can look at it like chess or checkers. Now, think of checkers, right? You pick it up for 2 seconds, you're having fun, you're moving, you're just playing, firing along. With chess, it's going to take much longer for you to, figure out how to play and be successful at it. So I said, you can engage with PvP where all you give a shit about is just tapping away on the screen and using Pokemon you like. You may not win, but who cares? Versus like, all right, I'm going to play with the AR mode, and I'm just going to snap off a picture with my buddy to get, my daily heart or whatever. But then you could take those same thing and apply the chess mechanic to it and say, okay, well, I'm going to dig into PvP. We obviously know how deep that rabbit hole goes. And then same thing with AR. It's like, if you dig into it, that rabbit hole goes equally as far. It's like, there's a lot of parallels to all these different parts of the game. And it's like,
the game is such a diverse, like, it's so diverse.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
Like, so Zoe, how important is AR, do you think, in the big picture?
I think maybe people, on the surface won't consider it, but it is part of the major technology that's going to be pushing further advancements even outside of Pokemon and outside of Pokemon Go. Like, if this software is being developed and enhanced and tested by, we could technically be the test grounds for, this, like, testing occlusion with certain 3D models and blah, blah, blah. Like, that can go or be sold or be evolved into goodness knows what in the future, like so many evolved. Potential things. Yeah. Which I think is just like
just the guinea pigs.
Unknown volume, infinite potential things that it could roll into that we don't even know could exist yet, as technologies, as games, as security, as other software. So I think it's overall very important, potentially, depending what they do with it.
Okay.
Ultimately, yeah. In terms of in the game, have fun with it. It's like, it's good fun. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel maybe as well, like, limited if they don't have AR plus and they only have regular AR. And people are like, oh, I can't even take cool photos. And it's like, yeah, you can, dude. Like, AR, like, I alternate between AR plus and regular because you can exploit so many more things in regular AR, or get things a really tiny size, or put your Lugia inside a flower. Or, you can look it up at the sky and it looks way better, like it's flying in regular AR and all this X, Y, and Z. So
and they did release the ability to go in landscape mode.
Yes.
Which helps that out too.
Yeah.
No, I think that the the Pokestop scanning thing is, like you said, with the test base, right? So we're going to be able to ultimately use our own phones to 3D map something. That's what essentially the Pokestop scanning is. That's what's going to help Niantic gather data to understand what is the front, the side, the back, the rear, where is it where is it anchored to the ground, how does it move when you walk around it. Like, this is all the information that's going to help them be better at occlusion and being able to make their Pokemon interact with real time
and
real life
smart
stuff.
learning. Like, oh, okay, that's a box. A box is 3D and has this space. Oh, that's a table.
Yep.
It usually has a flat
I could run
surface.
behind
that's
it.
a lake. Maybe if lake or if water, then submerge Pokemon. Like all those.
Oh man,
shit,
that's
imagine Lapras being
much
half in the water and stuff as it's
that.
learning. Oh, that is tree.
That'd be sick.
If branch of tree, Pidgey can stand on branch of tree rather than just like blob into the space. Like, yeah, man.
Oh, that'd be
Could
cool
you
as hell.
imagine?
Oh man, shit.
Like conspiracy hats
that.
on. Let's go.
I know, tinfoil hats. That's what this is all about.
And speaking of like the Pokestop scanning or Pokestops in general, do you do anything with Wayfair?
Yes, yeah. I did a lot more beforehand, like definitely last year as well. Like it was kind of the thing that I would do when I was waiting for flights or whatever. I'd like get on and review some stops and things like that. Or if I was like on the train or whatever. I've done a lot less this year, but now with the new badge that's popped up in the game, I'm like, well, you've got my incentive to get back on and do more reviews. I got definitely very annoyed at one stage when I was just getting things rejected for absolute BS reasons. And I think
reasons that have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Oh, this looks like a temporary installation. I'm like, in what? I'm like, I've provided you the link to this artwork that's been here since 2006 in an international airport. I'm like, how is that temporary? Like, what? Or like, oh, this name seems fake. And I'm like, it's the name that the artist made for it. Like, I didn't name it. It's the name of the artwork. Like, are you stupid? Like, what? There's a link for you. It just got me so heated.
No, I had a string of them. I had like 15 in a row that were just getting rejected for the same thing.
Yeah.
Just like, it's a basketball court. This is a temporary location. Or, the one I took a picture of the backboard of the basketball court and it was like the picture is sideways or crooked. It's like, what the? It's a perfect picture. Like, you just gotta, but I've learned I'm now in the point where I'm resubmitting stops that have been previously rejected for bullshit reasons. And now I just had my first one that was rejected for being temporary, which was a digital scoreboard in a park. And I just got the same one, new photo pushed through.
Nice.
So it's like, calling up an insurance agent. Like, you just want to get the right one on the right day.
Exactly, yeah. My issue was all the ones that were getting rejected were in the airport. They were already through the security in airports. So it's like, I don't get to go in there, and especially not this year. But like last year, it was like, I'm not going to be back here for like a couple of months. And because not many people like actually live in that area, they weren't getting into voting. So it was like months waiting for it just to be rejected. And it's like, oh, come on. Like, make people's time waiting in this space like more enjoyable.
It's amazing though, like when I visit places I haven't been to in a long time where I used to play and I hadn't been there, and then I come back and it's like all halos around all the stops. It's like, oh my God, awesome. This is awesome. Like, it's like a puppy when it grows. Like when you develop your own area and you're a little bit here, a little bit there, you don't notice the transition. But like when you show up somewhere and it's like all the new stops are out, it's like, oh my God, you could really see the effect of Wayfair. It's so cool.
There's definitely a lot in our area too, which is really good that it's clear that people are using it, which is really good.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, I want to shift gears a little bit like we talked about at the top of the show. Talk to me about Twitch, because I'd imagine, and I don't know much about the YouTube space in terms of how to really develop and build an audience and keep an audience, but I'd imagine that being on Twitch allows you to be more flexible with your content. And I wanted to see if you felt that. Like, is it a lot easier on Twitch to say, I'm going to fucking play Animal Crossing for a bit, and then if you were to try to do that on YouTube, like, does it grant you a little bit more like,
I think, I think because there is an understanding possibly generally on Twitch of like the genre that is variety streamer. Like that term is very much known and accepted, and it's usually that people will play different things as new games come out, unless you are just really, really dedicated to the one thing. And even then, over years and stuff, things might change anyway for that creator. Like maybe, you know, Overwatch is the biggest, bestest thing for a couple of years, but then, oh, what's this new PUBG thing? Or, you know, whatever it might be. Like, or Valorant or whatever that's coming out. And it's like, oh, maybe they'll start trying that out. Like I feel like most communities are kind of familiar with that on Twitch, in that people will play lots of different things. Definitely if you like have yourself anchored to one thing for a long time and build a following around that and then just kind of jump, there's definitely going to be people who are like, oh, you're not playing that game that I like anymore. And that's, you know, that's with anything, I guess. But I feel like YouTube is far more in that pocket of, this is, you know, you do Pokemon Go and that's kind of it. Like if you do something that's not Pokemon Go but isn't like a viral-ish video, it's not going to do well because your audience isn't watching it. Therefore, YouTube sees it as unpopular and therefore doesn't kind of serve that to other people. Or, you know, hey, you upload another Pokemon Go video. The algorithm, it sees that you are a Pokemon Go person. We're going to feed that video to other Pokemon Go creators into, you know, recommended and things like that. And, you know, it makes it stronger in that
Twitch
way.
So Twitch seems like the better platform.
Yeah, so it's
stream multiple games.
Yes, I think so. I think for variety and being safe, I feel like Twitch is a lot safer in that aspect, because for YouTube, there's just a lot of unknowns and things like that. Like we don't know truly, is your stuff going to be suppressed or redirected or not pushed or not notified, whereas Twitch is like, you go live, your followers get a thing and people can just browse through the game and, you know, oh, this person's streaming this game, cool, I'm going to follow that person.
Right. Yeah.
There's no like, I guess, trickery or anything like that. Maybe that's like not the right word, but on YouTube, if you just Google Pokemon Go, it's like, well, what's the flavor of the day? Like, is it Pokemon Go is trending plus the word coin update, so therefore my video is going to pop up because I've talked about it, or is it Pokemon Go plus the word community day is trending, so so-and-so's video is going to pop up. Whereas Twitch is like, Pokemon Go, here's the 100 people that are live right now with Pokemon Go, pick one.
Yep. It's I love that. I love that about Twitch. And you know, what I really like about it is seeing so many people that have like decided to try it and then ultimately be successful with it, because I think that Twitch is still young when it comes to the you know, the format, and we want people to give this a shot, because it's like all the entertainment I consume. I'd much rather switch the channels on Twitch and just go from game to game to game than like be on my fucking TV watching the news or something. You know what I mean? Like I'd much rather have that content where I could flip through a bunch of people that are playing Overwatch and find the one I want. You know what I mean? Like I love that. And I want to talk to you about this GGWP. And this is kind of like a group that you got associated with that. Like tell us about that, because I think that they kind of understand, from what I've seen from the GGWP, they understand the power of a platform like Twitch.
Yeah. So with GGWP, so the way that I got kind of involved with them was, it's literally a startup business that was made by a local mum in Newcastle. So I'm in Newcastle, Australia. And her son still does. He like competes. He's quite young. He competes in like a lot of the TCG and VGC stuff in Pokemon. And he was at that kind of point where he was, you know, going to the States to compete. I think this year might be his first year out of juniors sort of vibe. And so he started making maybe like some YouTube videos and streaming, you know, once per week with, you know, parental supervision and all that jazz on YouTube. And because his mum was getting kind of involved in this world of like eSports and streamers and like sponsorships, like, you know, he got, I think, sponsored to go to the States and everything to compete at quite a young age. It was like, well, where are the resources for these kids and teens and adults to know what to do? Like, there isn't really a tutorial on like how to internet job, like how to be a streamer or how to be a content creator and how to do it right, and not, you know, oh, hey, maybe don't tweet those sort of things because that's your brand, like a whole bunch of that. And then I'd just done some fun stuff, like a little collab with them. Like I went down to the VGC, TCG, the Asia Pacific one, a few years ago now. Like it was just when it was the first year when Pokemon had come out. And, you know, Max was competing and everything. And I went down and kind of like filmed and we just chatted. I did a stream with him as well. It was all just kind of like, nice, fun community stuff. And then like a year later, got an email from Jackie and she was like, hey, so I've like started this company, or we're starting it, and this is the concept. Would you like to be involved? We don't know what it's going to be quite yet, but well, we know generally, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm like, yeah, like, sure, let's go.
That's
and
awesome.
They've done like amazing stuff with like getting funding and sponsorships and they're putting together all of this like learning material for how to be a streamer, how to make content, how to be an esports creator, writer, caster, commentator, whatever it might be, and like getting the correct people to kind of bring that education material as well. So, getting content creators to contribute, getting esports competitors to contribute, getting like actual like PT, physical sports and mental health professionals to give content on how to take care of your mental health, how to take care of your physical health. Like you can't just sit down all day and stream and play games. Like that's not how you are successful.
Right.
Like it's super comprehensive. And yeah, I think they're doing like a really, really good job of it. Like it's evolved again so much in the last 12 months, and I'm keen to see where it kind of like continues. But yeah.
No, that's cool. I mean, I didn't know that they were like so immediately local.
Yeah,
which
literally,
is
like
really cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I knew they were from it was an Australian effort.
Yeah.
But like, that's super cool then. So that's like
that's something we got to look into.
Yeah,
it's
that's
quite
so
quite
awesome.
literally.
No, I
like
went
10
down a
minutes
rabbit
away,
hole.
like
I
10 minutes down the
downloaded the
road.
app.
Yeah.
I started watching videos. I was like, yo, dude, this is like, it's like one of those like, why didn't I think of this moments? I was like, oh shit, this is a fucking great idea. Like my son's 11 years old, loves YouTube, loves making content. Like he would love this stuff, and it's like he doesn't want to do anything educational. But like if I were to show him this, he'd be like, whoa, this is right up my alley. Like I was psyched. I was like, this is a really cool thing. And no, kudos to working with them, because I think that's and especially it's very on brand. They seem like a bunch of good eggs.
They
really
are.
do.
They're really like just really lovely humans, and it's kind of like genuinely wanting this to be a thing, like, and to make sure that all the like important things are covered, not just being like, oh, here's a quick PDF and buy it for $10.99 and it's going to teach you how to be it. It's like not like that. Yeah, which is really, really cool.
It's definitely you can see the kind of organic feel of it all. It doesn't seem forced. So that comes through. That's great. Well, you mentioned esports, and I love talking this with creators, because I always want to hear their takes of Pokemon Go as an esport, and especially like you have much more insight than most, because now you're working with organizations that do esports and may have, so you could see the different types of games that kind of dominate and live in those esports spaces. How do you think Pokemon Go, like, not even like what does the game need to mechanically or whatever to get there, but like how do you think the community of Pokemon Go would compare to like the esports community now? Because it's like I sometimes get a little concerned about what that clash of communities could bring.
Yeah,
because the like esports community is they're awesomely rabid, which is I think is like amazing. So it's like, yeah, it's super cool, but man, I don't know, but like, what do you think with Pokemon Go? Like, what do they think about? What does the esports community think about Pokemon Go?
I don't know, because it's such an interesting thing, because I think Pokemon as itself alone, like as a brand and as a e-sport and everything, like they have the VGC, the TCG, and they have like the Tekken or the Pokken long, like the fighter, the Pokken like Pokken game. And like that in itself, as is very competitive, and like that's at Worlds, I'm pretty sure, each year now as well. And like this year was
they're doing the Players Cup this month with all three of those. So.
And like last year, Go was the first time it was featured for Worlds. I guess I wasn't physically there. I think you were there, weren't you, Adam? Like I guess I don't know what the immediate reaction of people in the room was, being like, was it like,
all the chairs were filled and everybody was paying attention.
That's
when
fantastic.
Pokemon Go was being. Yeah,
that's all. Because that's what I mean. Like, I feel like
more
if it's
viewers,
yeah,
on the live stream, then it, like when it went to TCG, it just dropped.
Wow.
No, it went from 14,000 concurrent viewers during Pokemon Go to just over 7,000 when they switched over to TCG.
Damn.
It was like,
I mean,
whoa.
like that in itself is
was,
kind of like the
cool.
support because that's already your core market, is people that like Pokemon. And then if those people are enjoying watching the Go Battle stuff, like that's like, I guess, the first big step, and the fact that they literally have numbers to prove that is really, really cool.
Yes.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, how do you build that up more? I think that in like the entire esports ecosystem, it might be one of those things where it's like, some people are like, Pokemon Go, like as an esport, like that sort of vibe. But at the same time, it's like, well, I might be like, oh, League of Legends, like you just choose a lane and run down it and slap people with a stick. Like, you know, it depending on your view of what is competitive, it's just going to be that way. Sorry, League of Legends fans, I promise I did play at one time. But, you know, it wasn't something that I super love or that I would like to really watch. Like, it doesn't engage me. But like seeing someone like bait a shield and then like get the underdog win in PvP for Pokemon, I'm like, oh, that's what a sneaky play. Like that. I understand it. I can digest it and enjoy it.
I'm 100% confident that it would require solid shoutcasting, and we know that the community can create its own shoutcast network because there's so many amazing shoutcasters that have already done stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. It's like when you have someone that's excited and losing their minds over the match and everything to get you fired up. So even if you wouldn't be able to tell on your own what's going on, you can see follow it at pace because it's being fed to you.
You can understand it, or even if you're a viewer, you can go, so like someone's casting, be like, oh, he's just got the 3 charge up. You know, we can count the moves here. He needs 3 of these to be able to charge up for this move. Someone go, I didn't know that.
Exactly.
So when someone's using that against me,
a lot of like
1, 2, 3. Okay, I should shield if we're using
like
this
the
move.
Oh shit moment. Yeah, because it's like you start to understand it, and then like that's when you can have the big play. The one HP in a dream style. Getting knocked out with you only needed to get hit one more time, one fast move, and you would have died. The excitement factor is there. It's like it's going to be interesting to follow.
Yeah, especially
I agree,
especially when you saw the Linoon and it had the grass move and the lightning move.
Yeah.
Oh man, he can wreck face with that. Like I didn't even expect that.
Yeah.
And that was so cool. And then they had the volume way up, so like just hearing, I never play with the volume on, so like hearing the volume was just such a relief, and you could see the finger patterns and like where people were touching.
I find that so interesting to watch.
Yeah.
When people
and it's like everybody does it different.
Moves,
so it's like seeing those expert moves. It's like now I do that every time I play.
I always find that like wild, like watching
patterns.
some of the pros who go absolutely nuts. Like they're doing like the grass move and they're like doing little zoomies around the screen. And I'm just here casually like slowly lifting my finger, slowly bring it back down, slowly raise it back up.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm just
I'm a graceful charge move.
I'm
flowy and great, but I've seen people like even on a water charge move where it's like slowly you could follow it, they like just spaz out on the screen.
Oh,
swirl,
the
one
water
where I go stupid.
I love that one.
Flying,
I'll like swirl
I
up and then like bring it down and swirl it back up. It's I don't know. It's its own thing. But then like the fire and the poison type, those two are kind of like really.
I find the rock one really satisfying. Because I'm like, I swipe down and then loop back to the top and swipe down, loop back to the top, swipe like these nice little, very nice decisive strikes. It feels good.
Yes. That's so funny.
But no, I genuinely hope that it does do well and maintain traction and pick up more, because it's like there's people interested, there's people that are keen, there's people that are competitive and, want to coach and want to like compete and do.
Yes.
So
and I think we will see that.
I hope that it is like, and as much as the community is doing an amazing job of doing self-done tournaments, I think like imagine how great it would be for them to not have to put their own time and resources into that. Like if someone who knows how to host and how to, make the esports tournament happen, they can take care of all the management side of things, getting things set up, getting the gear, getting everything, tested and set, so that then the, members of the community can just be the caster, the competitor, the supporter.
Right.
And just fully enjoy it.
The beauty of this is that within the Pokemon network, you have organizations that are currently doing this for the VGC and TCG.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the network of vetted people to host tournaments is already there, because
the whole play Pokemon structure is already built.
Yeah,
so it's like
they just need to add Pokemon Go to it.
Yeah, they already have, for the TCG they get the exclusive items, the tournament organizers, they get the support with materials and promotional stuff from Pokemon, and they're there. Like they have to pass tests, they have to get vetted, like they have to pass a background check, like the whole 9 yards. Nice. So it's like literally,
the
all
guts
they would
is
need
there.
to do is
yeah.
say, hey, starting on Monday, Pokemon Go is now part of the Play Pokemon series. And
then you have a league with the VGC, the TCG,
every
Pokemon Go.
Exactly.
every
And,
card
it could always
shop
be
that's
tied
holding
in
events for
for
TCG could now do Pokemon Go. It's like that would be sweet.
And then I think a big thing that could be addressed for like the big tournaments and things like that, like when you're in the finals, because I guess if you're just at someone's shop and doing a comp, you've got your own phone, you're not streaming it and stuff. But then if there was even platform compatibility for trusted hosts, that you don't have to like log into, Zoe's Gmail account or whatever to log into that phone and have those other issues. Like if there was, you are the verified host, here are your 2 verified devices, and you just input the CP, the attack, the defense, blah, 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 the best buddy bonus of those Pokemon and build the team on it. That would just eliminate so much like time wastage, because you've got like preloaded Steve's team, Adam's team, blah, blah, blah. Like,
and also with that too, you're not connecting to, you can connect to like a local server even, and the game will run like fucking melted butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking
of melted butter and smooth as butter, when we did see each other back in Boston, I was looking over your shoulder and noticed your S20.
Yes. Smooth as butter.
So
how did you notice it after I was chasing down a squirrel?
Your phone so much. He talks about your phone all the time. Like he's just like, so Zoe's phone. It was so smooth.
Dude, the 120 hertz, man, it's freaky. It's freaky because we were just like, we'd gotten the phones, we were like playing around with them and then like talking to one of the guys in the Samsung space, like before one of the meetups. And he's like, yeah, so like have you tried out this, blah, blah. And I was showing him something because I was asking about like a certain color setting on the camera. And he was like, oh, why haven't you got the 120 hertz on? And I'm like, the 120 what? And then he's like, oh, here, like put it into change the setting. And then he's like, yeah, have a look at Pokemon Go now.
Change the setting to 120 hertz.
Dude, I almost
that
vomited.
Clean sweep.
It was so smooth. Like seeing that map pop up the first time with 120 hertz and like rotating the map was so sickly smooth. I was like, like vertigo. I'm like, oh my God, all right. Oh my God, Holly, quick change your setting, blah, blah. And then like Gilly and Mystic showed up and I was like, dudes, have you changed this? And they're like, oh no, what is it? And I'm like, trust me. Oh my God.
They're like game changer.
Yeah, and because the game's not even optimized for it yet. The phone is upscaling all of it. So the phone's doing all the work. I'm like, imagine, because, sometimes it'll then drop out and it won't do it because if you've got like 17 apps open and you're in the sun and whatever else, it's like, I'm going to focus on not upscaling a game that's not compatible. Imagine when it's compatible with 120, like when it's, oh, dude, perma smooth.
Okay, so backtrack just a little bit.
Sorry.
What is Team Galaxy all about and how did you connect with them?
Yeah, oh gosh, it would have been, I guess, way earlier last year. I had gotten a contact like just via Instagram, someone being like, hey, I looking for people to partner with for Samsung. And I was like, is this a scam or is this like actually a contact? And like kind of like followed it up. I was like, hey, what's the deets? And then at that time it was kind of like, oh, sorry, we're like cutting it too fine for this particular campaign, but like hope to contact you in the future. And I was like, sure, cool. I'm like, still could have been either way, whether or not it was legit or not. And I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Forgot about it. Then a few months later, Holly and Brandon, just Holly and Brandon, were kind of like starting with their kind of Samsung thing and partnership and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Good on them. And then in Taiwan, I was playing around with like Holly's phone and I was like, damn, this camera's nice. And it then evolved into me being like, can you take all my selfies on your camera for this trip and then send them to me? Because the photos were so crispy.
Teamwork.
Yeah, literally. And I was just like, having a chat, blah, blah. I was like, wait a second, who's your contact there? And she like shared the person's name and I was like, oh my God, that's the person who contacted me. So it was like legit. She's like, yeah. Like I'll email her and let her know that you're keen because I think they're looking to, expand the program. So she like, passed that on and got back in contact. And then it was kind of like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was really, really
because she said
cool.
We had her on and she had nothing but positive feedback.
Yeah.
And
they've all been.
She also mentioned Team Galaxy has an eSports team or an eSports
approach.
Yeah.
So they're really like wanting to focus on more for like the mobile gaming stuff and like the future of that. Like they can see the benefit and the value of having, I think a big part of it for like, you know, the Fortnite guys and stuff. So there's like a whole squad of the Fortnite boys. So I think at the moment for the like Team Galaxy is everything. It's like music. It's, you know, the BTS guys I think are in Team Galaxy. Like there's gaming. There's like a lot. Like Steve Aoki and like the girl from Stranger Things. Just forgotten her name. Little actress. She's
Billie.
Yes,
Billie,
yeah.
Something like
Millie
that.
Bobby Brown, yeah. Like there's a whole bunch
Eilish?
of Billie Eilish.
No,
yeah,
it's not Billie.
No, Millie, yeah.
Millie,
yeah.
Millie,
They're all,
yeah.
I guess, different levels of Team Galaxy, but then under gaming, I think at the moment it's Fortnite and Pokemon Go.
That's good company. That's
Yeah.
good company to be in.
Yeah.
Like,
And like
no, I saw on mobile Fortnite was running
like,
90 frames a second. Like that's insane. That is insane.
Yeah. And I think that they see that value in having, you know, essentially influencers and creators and stuff, you know, representing the product, and the product delivers, and like being able to play, like watching the guys play like Spider Hands on Fortnite with just buttery smooth like FPS is like, oh my god, like okay, they had the goal, they've nailed it, and you know they're partnering with these creators to show off, you know, what they've made, and I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. Like I'm really excited to see how it evolves in collaboration with Pokemon Go, because there's so much potential for extra crossover, extra like promotional stuff, like different kinds of events or whatever it might be. Like the Samsung space, like when we were doing the Com Days there in New York, like they've got the Samsung space as like a gym and Pokestops and stuff, and they were able to give out, you know, codes for free items for people that showed up to the meetups and do all these big giveaways and things. And it was like or like little raffles and stuff. It's just the potential is crazy and exciting.
How do you think Samsung can help the Pokemon Go community, you know, on the esports journey?
Oh yeah, like legit, dude. If they're already doing stuff like, I guess it's kind of in that like that learning phase, like they're learning a lot from us and, you know, from each other and stuff. And if it's being successful with the Fortnite guys, and, you know, they can figure out how that model works for having an esports tournament. Like I'm pretty sure, I think there's going to be a tournament coming up. I know there was one at PAX, like they had their first kind of like Samsung tournament for Fortnite. If that, you know, goes well, like, and they know how to host it and run it, like there's nothing really stopping them from going, okay guys, like who do we recommend and get from the community to be part of, you know, a Samsung PvP, you know, Pokemon Go thing. Like definitely.
Man, that would be so much fun.
Well, that's the excitement of having big ass brands get involved, and I think that's something that what we're not used to seeing, because you know, between the Sylph stuff and Go Stadium events and private tournaments through Sylph or whatever that people host, or these mega events that people do like big productions for, like all this stuff has been straight up independently funded. A lot of it's crowdsourced, and it's like, so if
a big brand is paying for
Samsung comes along, you know,
we'll host
and it's
this
like,
event.
Hey folks, I know we have this. We're gonna have some you know, a booth at the frickin' Javits Center, or, you know, at Comic-Con. It's like there's a lot of potential there to get in front of people. And you know,
and even
that's where
on
I'm
like
hyped.
the basic, like the pure like base level of funds. If Samsung is paying for an event to promote, you know, themselves via Pokemon Go, that's then more funds to enhancing the game, giving more things to the player potentially. Like if even just like the most basic level, if more people are invested in Pokemon Go, that's more, you know, potential payback for us, the consumer of the game. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's solid.
Awesome.
I think too with Samsung, it's very important because, in addition to just wanting to be part of esports, because obviously esports is the future, you know, every analyst in the world is agreeing that, you know, the industry is just going to grow for the next 10 years. So Samsung's position is very interesting because they're into the esports, but specifically mobile esports. And I think that's what gives them even additional credence with the Pokemon Go community, because not only are they in the esports space, but mobile esports. And I think that's super important to call out, because that just connects us, the player, in feeling like the way we feel about a relationship with a brand, saying like, okay, Samsung gets it because they're focusing on mobile. Like this is
Yeah.
bigger than them just wanting to be attached to a name like Pokemon Go. Like no,
it's not like bringing out some
it seems
product
like they
and
have
going
a fucking
like, oh,
they've got a plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we've made the new that device, and it's like, what? No one even uses that. Like, what? Why? It's not like disingenuous. It's like they make phones, and they've got a spot in the market and in the space and for mobile gaming, and it's like, I guess from a place of authority and knowledge on it, I guess. And in that way as well, it's more, legitimized. It's not just some random company going like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this and make it happen. And then, they have that plan to make this work.
Well, all I know is Adam and I are both iOS guys. And the other day I was shopping for Samsung devices for us.
The one thing that was
my
like
girlfriend picked
holding
one
me
up,
off.
and I wasn't in the mindset to just get it right then and there.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I was like holding off because even when I was like playing with Holly's phone in Taiwan, I was like, damn, this camera is just so good. Like I hate that. Like I know for iOS, it shoots photos really flat so that you can then edit the bejesus out of them. Like that's cool. But like,
right.
Do we want to waste time doing that? I'm like, the camera was just taking the crispiest, nice, like saturation, like photos. But I was just like, do I want to like, the main thing for me is on iOS is that like intuitive swipe. Like when you're swiping between applications and stuff. And I was like, I hate the back button on Android. And then I'm like, let me just Google it. And it's like, oh, here's how to get rid of the back button on Android. And I was like, oh, okay. Like there's literally a setting in the phone to make it function with swipe. And I'm like, oh, sick. Now I've just made it fun. Yeah, yes, literally. Well, that was the one thing that I was not wanting to change was just because of swiping. And then it was like, oh, you can make it swipe. Okay, cool. So now my interface functions like what I used to have. And, I'm just happy little egg. And I can have more control over the device as well.
I don't know.
Interesting. I'm like evil.
I've been iOS
back here.
my whole life.
I was too,
since the iPhones came out. So it's like,
Same. I was.
But this is the first time in my iOS career where I was like, let me take a look at that Samsung real quick.
Literally, because, before this I was. And it wasn't even like, even when we were talking about it initially, I was just like, I'm not going to just do it just because sort of thing. Like if I don't want to use the phone, I'm not going to do that. And then, I like ruined Holly's settings. Sorry, Holly. I fixed them back up afterwards. But like changed all her settings. And I was like, oh, I can literally make it function the same. But now I have a sexy camera. And
that's awesome, yeah.
All the other things that come with Android, like, you can't stream with a face cam straight off iOS. Like if you're streaming on the go and stuff, you can't, like there's little bits and pieces that were just like, and now it's like, oh, sick. That's resolved. Like,
sold. Yeah. That's like, burns my ass. I can't do that on iOS. It'd be a freaking game changer if I could. But in as we wrap up here, Zoe, one, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. It's always so fun to talk to you. You got a lot going on between your own content and partnerships. What's up with your content? Like, what are your goals right now? Like, how is your content being delivered to people between the different platforms?
Yeah. It's been like just a bit weird, I guess. Like since the whole staying home kind of vibe, it's been very different. I kind of like realized a week and a bit ago, I was like, I just don't feel like I'm creating videos. I'm just making stuff for YouTube. And I was like, I don't want to be doing that. Like, it's just kind of like, that general bit of a down funk. And you're like, I don't want to just be like making stuff for the sake of it. Like, I want to have fun. And I noticed definitely like on that first comm day back outside, even though we're only out for a little bit and saw just people very briefly and, socially distanced, but I was like, editing that video was fun. And I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, more of this, please. So I think as things start to ease back up. I'm like, what? Enjoying editing? Hello? I think as things ease back up again, it's going to be a lot better for me, I guess, like in terms of just enjoyment of making videos again. Streaming has been amazing on Twitch. Like we've had such a fun time over there. It's really good to have a place that is secure because the support is coming from the individuals that care about what you make. Whereas YouTube, it's like, people can watch it or not watch and things, but you're dependent on your CPM and if advertisers are advertising. Like I think for most of us at the moment, CPM is like way down on YouTube, even though views are way up because people are staying home and watching stuff. The CPM is like horrific. So it's just been like that incentive as well kind of hurts when you're like, oh, I'm just making stuff and it's not fun and I'm not getting paid for it sort of vibe, or paid, what you're worth.
Sure.
So Twitch has been amazing, and shout out to all the good eggies have come over and watched with that. But definitely as, things are becoming a bit more normal, there's going to be more videos up on YouTube more consistently. Sword and Shield DLC is coming out this week, so I'm going to be streaming my buns off for that too.
That's the hype level on that.
There's a lot happening.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm still doing both. I'm not quitting either. I've taken, I think since Wednesday, I'm taking off until the DLC comes out, just to be like, I haven't lifted a weight in like a few weeks. So I need to do some exercise, have some rest, get myself ready for it, because it's going to be a lot of stuff as of, I guess, my midnight Tuesday/Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to physically and mentally prepare for it.
Yeah, literally, I'm just like, get like a nice bath, get some candle, just zen out for a little bit, eat some junk food,
that's awesome.
exercise, and just get prepared, because it's going to be
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm keen to to create again, and not just.
Are you feeling the bug to travel? Are you missing traveling and?
Yes, and I miss everyone. I miss the humans. I miss you guys. I miss just people, seeing people. In terms of traveling, I feel like the thing that makes it the best is the time that we all spend together and just, grabbing a coffee and hanging out or eating ramen somewhere and just being stupid. At the moment, I guess, given the current context of everything, it's I don't want to travel if, cases are still high somewhere. Even if they said, okay, borders are open, you can go to, America, I'd be like, nah, there's 200 cases here versus 2 million. So I'm it just doesn't seem smart at the moment.
Yeah.
But say, for example,
I completely understand that.
Yeah, if New Zealand opens borders, I wouldn't mind, go see my mum, because I haven't seen her in a hot second. And, do some travel domestically. There's so much in Australia that I haven't explored and shown people. We are going into winter, which I hate winter, but I feel like if it's the aim for spring to, have a little travel plan and drive around Australia a little bit and show more of the backyard, that
would be awesome.
Is
I'd be
kind
so
of
into
cool
that.
to show, because people don't get to see that either. Even if I'm just it's just, an hour down the road, it still looks so different to what, you guys might see every day. So, yeah.
Yeah, and your spiders.
Yeah, look, I'll try and find a spider. You just don't see every time. I'd love to come to Australia, but your spiders. And I'm like, oh my God, I swear. I'm you won't see one, I promise.
Yeah, the bug out event is coming, so we need to see all the bugs that are from Australia.
I'll go to the reptile park and do a specifically bug episode just for you. We'll go find some spiders.
Please.
We'll do some Geltics.
Tag us in it, please.
Let's do it. I'll find some kangaroos and then we'll go straight into the spider content. Yeah.
But Zoe, thank you so much for coming on. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on as well.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always fun to just have a casual talk. You know what I mean? I can't wait till the next big ass live event. We could all chill.
Same.
I
just want one big group hug.
Wait. Yeah, for real. Yes. Oh, hugs. Remember hugs?
Maybe even just
physical
a big
contact?
group photo if we have to stay, a little bit apart. But
we'll put one
6 feet, people.
What's a feet? No, I'm joking. 1.5
all right,
meters.
Yeah, exactly. Move 6 feet forward. You're a little shorter. All right.
Yeah. As long as I can stick my hands out and I can't propeller someone, then you're the correct distance away.
But why don't you let everybody know where they can find you, and of course I'll put links to everything that you mentioned in the description. But where can our audience find you, Zoe?
Yeah, for sure. I managed to snag, thankfully, ZoëTwoDots on just about every platform. So ZoëTwoDots over on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Actually, _ ZoëTwoDots on Twitter. But everywhere else, if you just type me in, you'll find me. But yeah, doing all the good Pokemon stuff on YouTube. A lot of variety, and the Sword and Shield DLC and Animal Crossing, and maybe some spooky stuff coming up for Twitch, which would be good.
Nice.
Also, Stray on PS5. Damn, that looks cute. You get to be a cat. I'm gonna stream the hell out of that next year.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, come and hang out. We have a good time. Good eggs only. So I mean, look, within reason, but everyone's having a good time, and you can be your sassy, lovely selves.
No Phoebus hatches over there.
No
okay?
Phoebus. Yeah, but everyone is welcome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everyone else, thank you for listening to the show. definitely check out luredup.com for everything that we got going on. And our merch store is live. Yay! Yay! Merch store! We got merch. So, yeah, check that out. PokemonProfessor.com/merch. Zoe, thank you so much again for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys, too.
All right. We'll see everybody else next week.